we were not debating, but discussing what we really should lead with. And I thought that maybe, this Fincher story and the Ray story were pretty big in general. And he's like, yeah, but you follow up on this gun thing. And I was like, yeah, it really is. It's a story. It's a thing. And this is like, so Roke and I brought this up. There's an article written by someone who clearly isn't a big gun fan. So I can understand the pushback from the fans where you're like, wow, this guy's clearly has an agenda against them and doesn't like them. But it wasn't about who wrote that article. It was about the actual potential of, if you get bought, if there's this happens many different companies. If you're, no matter what your plan is, if your company gets bought, there is always a potential that you will not be there if your wing of your part of your company does not fit into what the new ownership wants to do. I mean, I remember when Complex bought Collider, when we were doing things for a bit, and then Complex wanted to go off. They said, it doesn't fit in our thing. Everybody's getting fired. People don't realize, Fernandez gets so much crap for the way that everything ended. And, but he was the one who said, well, I don't want everybody to get canned. I want to make sure that I'm going to buy it myself. And his vision still fit with a lot of the stuff that was going on. So you never really realized too much of what was going on. But when Complex wanted to get rid of it all, it just wanted to keep the website. So you don't know if that's necessarily going to happen, but it's a potential. It's a possibility. So we covered it. And guess what? Complain your asses off, because we're going to keep covering it, especially with what is happening now. What James Gunn was on this podcast is called Boba Talks. And I'm going to play the clip first, and then I'll read the story itself. But here's the clip.
Things in life. But yeah.
Absolutely. So one thing I've been really curious about is you've referenced things like Peacemaker Season 2 and Lanterns setting up different threads and arcs. How far do these arcs go? Like, do they culminate in Man of Tomorrow, or can we expect them to go further than that?
Yes, they definitely go significantly further than Man of Tomorrow.
Okay.
So now, whether or not that'll be me that's able to fulfill that promise depends on a lot of things in life.
All right. So a lot of things in life, as he says, right? A lot of things in life. No, wait a minute. What happened there? That's not the news story. What's happening there? Hold on, Steph. Give me a sec. So here is the actual article by Comic Book Movie Now, who is now also covering this. More and more people will cover this. He seemingly addresses a potential exit. Seemingly. So after years of speculation, it's been revealed that Warner Bros. Discovery is officially for sale. Now, James Gunn has seemingly addressed his future for the company. Ever since Warner Bros. Merged with Discovery Inc., rumors have run rampant about a potential sale of the storied Hollywood company. Rumors started gaining traction when it was revealed that Paramount Global had submitted an offer to purchase Warner Bros. Discovery. Soon after, sale intentions were confirmed by WBD's board of directors. For some, talks of a sale put into question the future of DC Studios, specifically that of James Gunn and Peter Safran. People wondered whether a sale would mean the executives would be forced to leave their roles, or they'd be allowed to stay on and continue with their plans for the DC brand. Now it appears, emphasis on appears, James Gunn has addressed the possibility of him leaving. We just played that clip, and so that sparked speculation. He was trying to say, if I stay, I don't necessarily know if that was true. It's worth mentioning that Gunn may not necessarily be talking about the potential sale. He could be commenting on the ever-changing nature of the entertainment industry. He could also be talking about his contract coming up. This is important to stress. James Gunn did not in any way say he was leaving. From what can be interpreted from the comments, he simply alluded to the possibility of not staying on at the company, and that could be for any number of reasons. Now, in the case that he was alluding to what is happening with the sale, some may wonder why Gunn may address an uncertain future for himself with nothing set in stone. To answer that possibility, it's important to consider the culture inside a company when significant changes are in the horizon. Exactly. As bystanders, we see everything from the outside and can only go from the little pieces of information that are strategically released by the parties involved. People working inside the company, on the other hand, have usually a good or somewhat coherent idea of what might be in store when a big shift happens. That in particular is true for someone in such a high position as Gunn. As such, it makes sense that he'd be aware of any potential risk should WBD be sold. fans may be quick to position the possibility of changes at DC as a negative stance on the future, but this is simply a matter of corporate reality. And it goes back basically into what Steph and I were just talking about. But
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm going to paint a scenario for you. I want you to picture a bald eagle, which is standing on top of a silverback gorilla, and that's riding on top of a T-Rex. What do you think you call that? You know what you call it? Confidence. Pure confidence. And that's the kind of confidence that you need in the bedroom for that next level wolf riding besides a velociraptor in a Lamborghini through outer space type of experience. You like that? So do I. That is where Rougiet's Go Long comes in. It's not just another ED pill. It's a confidence game changer. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula to help you get hard and go the distance. Hell yeah. Plus, the effects last for up to 36 hours. That means that you can feel confident all day and night, and then some on the next day, too. Getting started, it's simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online at rugiet.com. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly to your door. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? You head on over to rugiet.com. Use my promo code Kristian, 15% off your first order. That is rugiet.com. Use that code Kristian. Make sure to use my code so they know that I sent you. So, Steph, you see that, and this is why I just powered through all the nonsense with people saying, why are you covering this? Because it's a freaking huge potential story that, does it necessarily mean, even if it gets sold, does it mean that he's out? No. But even he knows that you don't. Let's see what the future is. His contract, other things. It's a possibility. There's also something very telling. James Gunn tweets back about everything. If someone says, hey, I heard that Superman's suit won't be blue, he read something. Yes, it will. There were articles about this thing, about him potentially leaving the thing. Where was his comment of like, this is all nonsense, I'm not going anywhere? Never came. Never happened, because he doesn't know the future yet. He hasn't signed his contract, his new contract. He very well might. He could stay. But this is a story that is developing, hence why we will and why we are and will continue to talk about this. But what do you think, Steph?
Yeah, I think it's definitely an interesting time for all of the media companies, the major companies, and I do think it is a little bit even different than before, because I feel like we used to get monopolization and have mergers, but now it feels like there's vested interest more so than ever, in terms of like a lot of the billionaires or people purchasing these companies do have political interests that, like, just, and then not to get political, just really factual out there right now. So when you see someone like James Gunn specifically, who has a very strong point of view in his movies and shows that we've seen already thus far, with just even Peacemaker and Superman, it is kind of concerning, in terms of, I'm a James Gunn fan. I like what he's doing. I'm excited for the future projects and his idea in terms of DC in general. So and then you put that together with, it's business, so you never know what's going to happen, in terms of it might not fit their vision, whatever that may be. So it is kind of nerve-wracking for people like me who do appreciate James Gunn. I do see people in the chat being like, I don't like James Gunn, so this is a good thing. I do, so it's kind of a bummer. And also, I don't like these major mergers in general, because I feel like it closes in on the creativity, so we're now only getting the viewpoints of a few separate companies.
Sure. I mean, look at Disney when they bought over Fox and everything that happened there. And one thing I will tell you, is that as he said, all he said there was, we will see what the future holds, is what that statement said. Because there is no, as we said yesterday, Warner Brothers said no to Paramount's second bid. Netflix, not sure if it's going to happen, right? Apple, we don't know. There's nobody that is really ramping up to this is what is going to go down. So James Gunn he probably has more inside information, obviously, than we do. It's okay. What's my future like if Paramount buys it? What's my future like if Netflix buys it. Well, his future is different at every different company, because every different company might have. So, well, no, we like what James Gunn's doing. We have this idea. Well, we want Abdi and DeLuca to run it. We don't want Abdi and DeLuca to run it. We want this. We want that. You don't know. You just, he doesn't know. And that's why, with the fact that he's got the contract coming up, the new one,
Right.
Of course it's in limbo. And that's what he said. I don't know. He didn't necessarily say, well, if it gets bought, I'm out. He's just being realistic. He's being realistic here. We're saying, we don't know what the future holds right now, because I have my plans. I know where I want it to go. But if you're a Gunn naysayer, don't start cheering and yelling yet, because you don't know who's going to buy it. If you're a Gunn fan, don't start cheering and yelling yet, because you don't know who's going to buy it. It's one of those things where it is up in the air. I don't know what the future of, if someone said, well, what do you think? I have no idea, because I don't know who's close to buying. I do think, though, this is what I will say. I think most likely Paramount will buy it. That's my gut says. I think that their next bid will get enough traction that they're going to go, okay, we're good with that. We're going to take it. Now, does that necessarily mean that Gunn will be out if Paramount buys it? No, but it's the option that he probably doesn't want, because of the politics of the dude who's running it. Now, I think that they should give him an opportunity to say, hey, we want you to come in, finish up your contract, and let's see what we can do here moving forward. I think you give him another shot and see what he can do on his next few movies, sign him to another year, 2 years under Paramount, because there are a lot of people who love him too. And if he doesn't deliver or do the things that you want him to do under your new banner, then you have the right to say, okay, after that 2 years, then we're going to, DeLuca and Abdi will take over. But just removing him right away, I think, will cause too much of a stink.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that we've seen people already kind of be ready to use their money in a different way than we have before, because it feels like for a lot of people that might be like the last bit of power they can assert in all of this, to be like, no, I like this. No, I don't like this. And that seems to be how America works, is like, we're just, we're a capitalistic country.
Mhm.
So that kind of matters how the fans feel. And for someone like me, if he was just ripped off without any chance of like seeing how he does, like letting the money talk in terms of what he brings in, then that would really, really rub me the wrong way. And I probably would be off DC for a minute.
It's just, well, I think that what would be confusing to them, for them, and for the fans in general, because this is another thing that he said that is very realistic, and I'm curious to what you think here, right? So let's say that they don't bring him back, but they keep his plan in place. Like, they don't reset the whole thing again, because I think that would be a major, major error. A new Superman again. Like, okay, yeah, you know what? We're about to cast Wonder Woman. We can't, because we're not going to go the Gunn route. We're not stick with what he set up, and then give it to new people and let it kind of push forward, as opposed to just resetting the whole thing again. You reset it again this quick. I don't think that's going to be beneficial to anyone.
No. I think that would be a disaster.
Right. And that's if he goes anywhere at all. The other possibility is it doesn't get sold. The likelihood of that, someone said it in the comments, and I agree. When was the last time you saw a studio that was up for sale and it didn't get sold? You know what I mean? It's like it's Warner Brothers. It's like it's a big property. If it doesn't get sold, though, then business will go on as usual, at least for a little bit. Because make no mistake about it, this was always Zaslav's intent. It was always his intent to buy it, build it up, and sell it. And that's what he's doing. And he will accomplish that. So I don't know. And I think other people are saying it too. And this was my point yesterday, is that Ellison, who is the king of Paramount right now, he wants to get it done. He's got enough money to get it done. He's playing hardball. Someone says this is the third third bid from Paramount. I thought it was the second, but someone said it was the third, and they rejected the third. They're gonna keep going for it. If they put in 2 or 3 bids already, they're gonna keep going for it because where are the other bids coming from? We haven't heard any yet.
Right. Right. Yeah, it feels like that's the ultimate goal, and it will probably be achieved.
I think so, and I think that's kind of why Gunn is insinuating. I do think that he is. They said they weren't sure if it was necessarily tied into the sale. Of course it is. I mean, I think they're right for writing that because we don't know, but of course it is. Of course it's tied into the sale, and it's another reason why I mentioned beforehand. There was no mention when that article was going around. It doesn't matter who wrote it. He didn't respond to it. He responds to everything. Well, he shouldn't respond. He responds to everything. He responds to everything. He would, if he wasn't going anywhere and there was no risk of it at all, he would have been like, this is ridiculous. Don't pay attention to this. I'm not going anywhere. He can't say that because he doesn't know. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, these are the types of stories that we will cover when there's some juice behind it. Now, as we said, does it necessarily mean that he's out and that he's going to leave? No, it doesn't. He very well could be in place for the next 10 years. But this is a possibility. Hence why we did covered it today, and we'll cover it again tomorrow. So get ready for it.